desire to dream. What do you mean? Take a good look at my life. Yeah, my future it gleams. Desire to dream. What do you mean? I cannot lose, cause I got God on my team.
Welcome back to another episode of the Desire to Dream podcast. I'm your host, Lo Wilder, entrepreneur, speaker, and I'm just excited because today I brought my first guest on the podcast, man. He's a great friend. He's my performance coach, man. Somebody that I've been rocking with for a few years, man. I met him through Game Changers. He's the CEO of Mediocre to Magnificent. He's a motivational speaker, a coach. Man, this dude is just powerful, man. Husband, Christian, man. I'm excited, man. I got my boy Lee Williams, man. What's going on, Lee?
Man, thank you to be here. We trying to desire the dream, baby.
Hey, let's
Hey,
go, right, man? We live in magnificent.
you know
So,
that.
yeah, man. So we tapped in a few years back, man. We met through ET Game Changers, and it was just, man, it was just love from the beginning, bro. Like it was a connection there, right? And I just wanted to, bring you on as my first guest because you've been my performance coach for a couple, probably about a year now, and just went from mediocre to magnificent. A lot of times, you could be living life thinking like I got it all figured it out, right?
Yeah.
But really, man, hiring a coach, hiring somebody that can just watch your blind spots, help you elevate, take you to that next level. And you've been able to do that. And so I just appreciate you. And I wanted to just honor you bringing you on, man, because I know that you have a powerful, powerful testimony and coaching skills that can help people, man. So I just wanted to bring you on, kind of tell people who you are, man, a little bit about your background and kind of where you are and how you started your company.
Yes, sir. So yeah, the whole brand is mediocre to magnificent. And there was a time that I was accepting mediocrity, man.
Mm,
And I didn't have that blind spot covered, so to speak. And I just got exposed to personal development.
hmm
And once I got exposed to personal development, I'm like, man, I don't have to accept the status quo. I don't have to accept mediocrity. I can be magnificent. So since then, I strive for that. So, but a little bit about myself, I come from a broken home. You know, my father didn't make some of the best decisions, drugs, gangs, abusive. Fast forward, I didn't let that define who I was. And that's the whole mediocre. That's what takes the mediocre to the next level. Because I could have been a statistic, but I chose not to be. But it's so funny because my father was drugs, gangs, abusive. And
mm,
in my young mind, as a child, the file that I decided to choose, I ended up going in law enforcement, man. And I know at this stage of my life, we don't really like, oh man, lead speaker, coach, like, but I was in law enforcement. Please, y'all don't hold it against me. But if you
right,
think about it, what's the furthest thing away from gangbanger? The
mm,
police.
right.
Man, the family I come from was like, oh, what, you the police? I can't believe, oh, you pig, oh, woo, woo, woo. And it's like, but that's the file that I was playing out.
mm,
And but back to that personal development piece, I didn't have to accept mediocrity, remember? So then by, reading some of the legends, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, in the game, I'm like, we can do this. I'm smart enough to do this.
hmm
I could desire the dream.
All right, let's get
I
it.
can lock in with low.
Uh,
So
that's
yeah.
awesome, man. At what point, like, you realize? So you go on that journey, you become, an officer, and I know your story, but I want them to know, like, you got to a point where even then you kind of felt like, man, I know there's more, and that's the
Right, right.
piece about personal development when you really start to build confidence and understand that there is more out there for you. Like,
Yeah,
at
so
what
it
point?
was it was
Yeah.
a it was definitely a process, man, because I started working when I was 13, mom, single parent. I'm 6'5", 300 pounds, eating up all the groceries.
Right.
If
Well,
you
you
wear
better get
if
a
you wear
job.
if you wear a certain shoe, it's 17, size 17, but 14 if depending on the shoe. But the
Yeah.
thing is like that costs money. I had to go to work.
Mm.
But by going to work, the only reason I'm saying that is because sometimes people don't realize, and that's what the coach, when you said you shouting out the coaching side of things, people don't understand the baggage that they carry. So I'm working since I'm 13 years old. But then when I want to transition to be like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm gonna start my own business. It's like, but I've been working since 13. They pay
Mine is
every week.
program. Yeah,
Yeah,
program.
they done indoctrinated me into the system.
Mm.
Like I work 40, I get a check. That's secure. It's like, no, that's a trick. But to say through the personal development piece of like, no, you really can create your own. And then if you really tap in and get the tax game, not saying we're evading taxes, but we
Yeah.
want to pay the IRS as least as possible. So when you say,
Facts.
okay, well, I'm making six figures over here in this industry, you really don't have to make six figures to leave if you know the tax game because
Right.
they take a third of your money. So
Right.
it's like, okay, well, but you don't know that unless you start reading those books.
Mm-hmm.
So the coming back saying, okay, well, how did you? It's literally readers are leaders, learners are earners. And I can say I named legends in the game, but it's in the scripture.
Right.
Like all the
Mhm.
stuff, once you start reading the scripture, because you say, oh, we're believers. I heard it from the jump. I appreciate that. This right here, LAW, you think is my name, Lee A. Williams. This says living according to the word.
Mm. Come
The
on.
play is righteousness. If we run the play of righteousness and we go back to the beginning of time, it's in the word. So we're reading they got Rome, he got all his material from the word.
From the word. Yeah.
The law of sowing and reaping, word.
Right.
The law of averages, the word. So we have to get back to the basics and keep it biblical. But once you connect the dots and having that coach,
Mm-hmm.
having yourself being exposed, because, coming from a single parent home, I'm from California, man. My mom moved me all the way to Georgia. That's on the other side of the United States, just so I wouldn't be in the gangs and I
Right.
wouldn't fall down the track of my father, my uncles, and just environment stronger than will. Totally uplift, move to the deep south. You
Mm.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
Bible Belt.
Right.
That's the other reason why I'm saying that, because
Yeah,
California is different
for
when it
sure.
comes to,
Yeah, it's free, right? They're
yeah,
not,
it's a lot. It's a
it's
lot.
a
So
lot of freedom and free spirited and like you said, you had the environment, the ingredients to set you up for failure. You had the history, you had your father. What was it like growing up, without your father figure? And how do you think that impacts men today?
yeah, yeah. So I want to say this because sometimes, speakers, I get on a little and I might not answer your question. So
Yeah, all good.
you hold me to it, but like you didn't answer my question
I
because I
got you.
want to make sure that I take care. I'm here to serve you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's another piece of it. I need to answer your question. So if I
Mm,
go off on a tangent, you bring me back.
I got you. I got you.
So how it impacts men, it's the enemy is trying to break men
Right.
and demasculate men. It's in the movies, it's in the music, it's on TV shows. His goal, if he breaks the family up,
That's
if
it.
you look at the stats of how it ends up impacting the children and what the drug and alcohol and going to jail and prison, if you look at those numbers, it's so interesting to say, hey, how do we keep playing this and how do we keep falling into the trap? The word said he's supposed to seek, kill, and destroy.
Hmm.
And we think that's a game.
Right.
You think just because you don't hear a roaring lion that he's not seeking,
Hmm.
but he was able to end up getting a hold of my family. Like my parents were the heroes. My father just became the villain.
Wow.
He became the villain. But thank y'all, after 26 years, 27 years now, he's been clean. We
Praise God.
reconciled our relationship because I hadn't seen him for a long time. So the man piece is I truly had to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly had to internalize what I was reading and what I was being exposed to. And there's no way that I was going to be able to go to these schools and go to these universities and coach men like you if I didn't have what I need to have faced and forgiven my father and said, hey, we're going to have the best relationship that we can have moving forward. And we're going to put that all past and we're going to work on that. But it says, if you don't forgive, how are you going to be forgiven?
That
Now, I'm
part.
not saying the scripture with it. You got to look it up for yourself. Readers are
Right.
leaders.
That's right.
You got to study to show yourself approved. But there is a scripture. If you will not be forgiven if you don't forgive. So I
That's
had to
right.
point blank say, hey man, like I understand the background, I understand what you went through, I understand you fell short, I understand the crack got a hold of you, lost your mind. But if I'm gonna
Yeah.
be out here making impact and running the play of righteousness, I gotta be on point. I gotta be the real deal. I can't be a hypocrite out here. Oh, you don't talk to your father?
Right.
No.
Yeah. The
Even
Bible
to the
also
point
said
where
it's his honor.
my own mama was like, what you mean?
Right.
He ain't did nothing for you. He ain't never been. No birthday card, no haircut, no like nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
And you talking about you going on a family trip. You going on a father-son trip.
Right.
But look at the level of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a different level. And that's what takes care of like showing up how because I believe you're a man like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're a husband. You're a father.
Right.
The way you put and rate your family, that's what we have to have out here. And the more times that we'll have that, and me and you will be authentic talking to people, and you invite me on to share this podcast and say, hey, I know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why you can't put somebody in the game to help you elevate. We're talking mediocre to magnificent. We're talking desire to dream. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking locking in with low. We're talking lifestyle with low. That looks a certain way.
Mm. Love it.
Magnificence looks a
That
certain way.
it
Low.
definitely does. Yeah, for sure. And when what is the, I guess, the breaking point for the listeners, right? Because many people are like, man, I got this, or they live a private life. And to your point, one of the things that I was hearing as you were speaking was the healing process. Because it's the same for me, right? 24 years old, I meet my father for the first time. And that looked a certain way. And it took some time through therapy and like you said, opening up and getting to have a relationship with him to really heal. But at what point do people, because some people are like, man, I'm not living a mediocre life, man. I don't know what these guys are talking about.
Right.
But you have to like really look in the mirror and be authentic and accountable and say, man, I'm not really doing all these things I want to do. So I guess if someone is listening to this podcast and they feel like I got it figured out, how can we help them, kind of see like, hey, man, you need to take this to the next level.
Yeah. So the thought process, there's two ways I'll answer it. Every garden will be attacked. Not to think so is naive.
Mm,
So the garden is your mind. So if you're the person that say, "Oh well, I got it all figured out," we've had mentors that we know point blank was like, "Oh, you could see." Okay, it's so great. I love you, Lo. So the thought process
yeah,
is up
yeah.
being, "Hey, I got 8 M's to magnificent living,
Mm,
right? It's 8 M's. I keep it like let's go back to the template. Let's go back to the structure. Let's go. So it's like we've talked about it on many sessions. Oh
right,
man, you killing it in this area of your life.
right, right.
You the man. It's
You the
like, but
man. Yeah,
your health ain't on point.
come on,
You ain't been to the gym all week.
come on. Yeah,
So then you thinking like, then you're like, okay, well, man, I'm in the gym every day. I do 2 a day. Lord, I'm back into the spring training time. 2 a day at
yeah.
the
2 a
gym.
day in
Like
it.
marriage suffering.
Yeah,
So you gotta have somebody to look at you and be willing to hold like in compassion, but I like to call it ruthless compassion. In compassion to be like, what about this? What about this? What about this? To be called to say, what where are you? How are you showing up with this?
right.
And then the thing is being vulnerable. Vulnerability is strength. That's the answer that I was getting to. The
Mm,
vulnerability piece is strength. You can't be like, oh, well, I'm good. It's like, no. When are we going to get real? Everybody had something placed in them that's special to them that has to be called out of them. And there's people that can help facilitate that. You got to get with somebody that has a pure, sincere heart that wants you to win. Win is whatever is necessary. What I mean by that is, if I have to be your big brother today on the call, I'll be the big brother.
Right.
If I need to be your cheerleader today, let's rah rah. I'm cheerleading. If I need to celebrate you, if I need to be like, no, what? That sounds crazy.
Mm.
The part with this is like, if you always tell me peaches and cream or sunshine and rainbows, we can't get down in the trench.
Yeah, we can't work.
We can't work. What you talking about? Oh, you be like, yeah, I'm doing good at the gym. Like, you ain't been.
That part. Yeah. You
Oh, yeah,
called it. You called it, man. Like you had your weekend or your week, retreat with the clients, man, out in Colorado. And you said it, man, there was some, you go on the trail, man, you go on a walking trail, and you had cats that were saying, hey, I was working out, and that's when it got real.
That's when it got real. And that, it's like, and we've heard this, you don't have to get ready when you stay ready.
That's it, man.
But I just did an episode on my podcast, brother, that piece is truly the essence of, you don't have to get ready. If you stay ready, it's for when Yahushua comes back.
Mm.
So it has to be able to transcend and trickle down to every area of your life. Like, you need to stay ready in your marriage. You can't be like, oh, when's the last time you did a date night? Oh, I ain't did it.
Right.
You got to stay ready in your finances, your money. Like, you be like, oh, I'm paying interest. I'm taking out loans. I'm living check to check. What?
Yeah.
You ain't ready.
Yeah.
But if he comes back, if the trumpet is sounded,
and you ain't ready.
One of my other clients, Lo, he was like, man, I just tapped in, listened to the podcast, and he was like, man, you were talking about the scariest words to ever hear. And I was like, oh man, and I'm leading him along, Lo. I'm leading him along. I'm like, oh, you got fired. Is that scary? Like, I want a divorce. Is that the scariest word? You got a diagnosis. Is that the scariest? And then guess what? I came out with it. I never knew you, you worker of iniquity.
Matthew. Yeah.
That, when we start talking like that,
man, listen, I tell my youth all the time, that's the scariest scripture, right? It's Matthew 7:22, right? Have I not prophesied in your name? And then they'd be like, get away from me. I never knew you. That's terrifying. Listen, that's terrifying. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So that's like with to tie in the coaching piece. And I didn't know, me and you, because we know each other. So we knew we could just get on here and be authentic, be organic, and make it happen.
Right. So
the thought process with that, man, I never knew you, you worker of iniquity. How it transcends into all the areas of your life. So a couple other M's, man. What's your mindset like? Like, are you putting fruit-bearing trees? Are you planting that in your garden that I told you don't think to be naive with? So if you're only just putting in, I'm watching the first show that came to my mind, I'm watching Scandal or I'm watching Empire, like something like that. I know it's probably like outdated, but that Scandal word worked for this situation.
Right.
And then you're like, so you playing scandalous in your mind. Like, how is this working? But then they got books like Think and Grow Rich. Like, you might want to check this out. Like,
yeah.
And it's like, hey, the richest man I might want to read that, it's getting to the point of that is to stay ready. And once you go through the other M's, and it's so funny, like sometimes there's clients, man, that they literally pay me just to listen to them, man, because that particular client needs to be heard. They need to be affirmed. They ask, like, how does that sound to you? Is that right? And I'm 30-minute call. It's like I said 3 words. Yeah. Sure. You're doing wonderful.
Because that's what they need, Like
and said, so you have to meet people where they're at. Is the point I'm getting at. And I might be talking to you and you're telling me like, and I just do this, and you might be able to say and witness to it, say, yeah, he did me like that. Be like, oh yeah, man, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I got this going on. I'm like, okay, well, when's the last time you meditated on the scripture and prayed and read your Bible? And you're like, Sunday? Like
Well,
Sunday,
well.
this in a
Yeah.
week. You one of them kind, you put your Bible in the trunk and we don't see it till next service.
Mm,
But then if you're like, well, I'm like, okay, everybody talking about, oh, we did date night, we did this, I'm closing these deals, I'm making this happen, I'm out here. When's the last time you've been to the gym? How's your meals?
right.
How's your meal prep game? I won't never forget. I was coaching a client, man. He said, "I want to be financially free." I said, "Okay, we can do that. We can work with that. Let's look at your budget." The cat was eating out $800 a month. He was eating out $800 a month, and this wasn't a cat that he wasn't going buying groceries. He had a full fridge of groceries.
Mm,
I was like, you got to work on. You can't eat out. You're not ready for that. You
yeah.
can't afford that.
Yeah,
But the
because
key
because
word,
that,
you
because
can't.
then not only that, what you're doing, you're not setting yourself up for success, not just to reach that goal or that lifestyle, but even if you are become financial free, and you still have that habit, right? You still have that habit of eating out. You have that habit of going, to the restaurants and buying the filet mignon, right? When
Right.
you ain't gonna be financially free for a long time. And one of the things that as we're talking about coaching, because see, people are like, oh, I don't want people in my business, but he said it. He said the word. It's vulnerability, and the thing about it is, you have to make a decision and ask yourself, do I
Yeah.
want to live a magnificent life? Do I want to take this next step into my dream, into living? And so what happens is,
Dude.
you get with a coach that's going to make you what? Uncomfortable, so that you can grow, because you're not going to grow in that state. And that's one of the things I love about Lee, man. Like I'm telling you, I was killing the game in certain
Right.
areas,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
But we working together, man. You allowed me to, one, lay out my goals and what I want. Okay, bet. Now you created like it's like going to see a doctor.
Yeah.
You see the diagnosis and like, okay, this is what we need to do to get you back on track, or to get you to where you want. And the accountability piece comes in when you're off track and you're like, hey, okay, that all sounds good, but what's going on? What's going on over here? And that's the beauty of it, man. And one of the things I want to make sure we talk about in the podcast, because you also, there's a distinction between personalities or different people, like types. And I know you have an assessment that you
Yeah.
personally give out. Talk a
Right.
little bit about assessments and how it helps people to see where they are, and give them the tools that they need to just better themselves.
Yeah, so it's the disassessment. Mine is actually called Navigate the Ocean. It's branded that way,
That's what's
with
up.
the having it the DISC. So I for the D, just to keep it simple, is like a shark, and the I is the dolphin, and then we have a stingray and we have an octopus. Now, it's knowing the people and how they show up, especially with coaching, and then when people do it, it's, for our background with being in the game, how long we've been in the game, we know each other's, and then like I know you're a strong high D
Mm-hmm.
and how you show up, and that's very like action, like you basically how I said shark. If a shark comes in the ocean,
He ain't
like
playing.
that's an
He ain't
apex
playing.
predator. Like
Right.
he can get stuff done. Like ain't nobody contending with the shark if the shark's on point. I've heard it with one of our mentors is like, okay, they do the flight assessment. It's a pilot. Like there's only certain people can fly the plane. The grounds crew can't fly the plane. You see what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but it's knowing that and then speaking to that, and then from a coaching lens saying, hey, well, you if you would just be a little more, in this instance, blueprint, and do the research and do the study and take it. So like my podcast host, he's straight up like stingray.
Mm.
And what that means is sometimes he'll research till he's blue in the face. And I've already been a higher D, taken the action, got the feedback, made the adjustments, and he's still researching. So the thought process, there's a time for both, but
Right.
you have to get into the rhythm of the saying, like, am I taking this too much? It's like, sometimes the person could be like, okay, well, we've heard of planes falling out the sky. You see what I'm saying? We've heard of shark attacks. You see what I'm telling you?
Hmm.
It's like, oh man, you don't went and bit somebody's leg off, man. We didn't need that right now.
Yeah,
That wasn't you could have gave a little more time in the research.
right. As you were saying that, I'm thinking about, how people do so much research, and I look at it from like a consuming standpoint when it comes to this content, where
Yeah,
so many people want to take action, but
yeah,
they're just in this stage where, to your point, doing the research, you consume the information. You're watching the videos. You're watching, the Eric Thomases. You're watching, the Grant Cardones. You're watching the greats.
right,
But you get into this habit of just consuming information, and
right.
now it's time for you to take action, and you don't do it.
And you don't do it. Yeah, it got to the point where they're just being entertained. Like that content is filling the void. And then not to play with your brand and your podcast, they're desiring the dream, but they're not putting some of the actionable things in place to create
Hmm.
the dream.
Yeah.
So that's what like, and that's where it's so different as far as with you. It's like, yeah, I'm killing the game, but I want to take all areas of my life to the next level. That's different. Like so, even with me, like mediocre to magnificent. Like you could tell, you already could tell just me talking to me. That whoever's listening, I have the juice.
Hmm.
Like I have it. But I was the lieutenant at the sheriff's office,
Mm.
and it
Yeah.
wasn't until somebody was like, "Hey, there's a whole nother." And I'm not gonna say like I painted a picture like, "Oh, well, now you're out here doing podcasts and writing books." And, yeah, I get it. But the process is the vulnerability piece of saying, like, I don't know everything. This is a new lane, and I'm gonna put myself in the game. Like, I
Hmm.
won't never forget. I joined a mastermind for 2 years, like very early, probably really probably too early on. What I mean by too early on is I ran my American Express. You see what I'm telling you? But
That part.
and
Yeah.
we're talking, yeah, but we're talking like a lot of money. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm telling you
Yeah.
for the mastermind? Like
Right.
that
Right.
every year, like, okay, but what I'm telling you now is I was actually putting myself in the room with people that were doing what I wanted to do. So
That
you
exposure. Yeah.
start where you need to start. If it's hey, you getting with low, you locking in with low, you lifestyling with low, that's what you got to do. If you like, hey, well, man, I want to talk to Lee. Well, let's talk to Low. See what
Right.
Low got for you. Then
Yep. And move to, yeah. And rock with
if you
and
could,
rock
if
with.
I'm a fit, if you resonate with my energy and you resonate with who I am and how I show up, I got you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do my role. But to sit here, I just had a new client start with me probably 3 months ago, and he was like, "Man, the cat." I had already known him, but I said, "Man, like, this is what I do, right?"
Right.
Yeah. I said, so what's up, man?
Yeah.
And then he was like, okay, yeah. But then he's getting ready to do a testimonial for me. And he was like, man, I've already got my business form, my website, my logo. And I'm not saying, because I will never forget, this came from a workshop I went 2 years ago. He said, how can if I got a jury of your peers together, how could I convict you? How can I bring evidence against you to prove you were in business?
Mm.
So I've never forgot that. I'm like, man, you ain't got no articles of incorporation. You ain't got no domain. You ain't got no
Right.
web. So
Yeah.
we just start checking it off. Like,
One by one.
but people don't realize each step it gets more and more real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're like, man, I'm having opportunity. They want me to come here. They want me to do this. And he's like, man, I'm so thankful I started. Like, because it was just an idea. Now I really have a business. I said, yeah, I know. That's what we do.
That's it.
But
Checking it.
something
Yeah.
that you said a minute ago, I had clients that was like, I got a testimony on my website. She's like, you told me some stuff I didn't want to hear, and I was mad at you. And I was like, man, I'm done working with Lee. I'm done. 'Cause I'm
Right.
adding for this environment. She
Yeah.
didn't do all
Yeah.
that. But she was literally like, and then I just like got off the phone and was like, he right.
Yeah.
So
I
you
needed
gotta
to hear
have
I needed to hear that.
that person to be like, I don't care if you don't never coach with me again. I got to keep it real. I
That's
got to be
it.
able to go to sleep at night and say, like, I didn't just collect a check. I didn't,
Yeah.
oh, just let's just keep the payment going. I got to be the person that's like, that ain't right. That don't sound right. You know that ain't right.
Hmm. Yeah, you have again, the vulnerability piece is huge, but you have to want to grow. You have to
Yeah.
want, that desire to grow. And it's funny you brought up Desire to Dream, because I knew that when I wrote that book, it was the beginning. It was the mindset that you have to create. But then there's a piece that I'm coming back with the follow up,
Mhm.
and that's the activation piece, right?
Right.
Taking the action. But you have to really, like, be vulnerable, and then be willing to be open up enough to grow. And I just love you
Right.
for that, man, like, and what you do. Not only you do coaching, you're also a public speaker. You go into the schools. You've been doing that for years. um Before we go, I want people to know, like, how they can, get in touch with you, find your stuff, man, promote the website. But talk a little bit too about the speaking, in case someone is in Georgia or Carolinas, whatever the case may be, and they need somebody to come in, because you don't just speak to youth, but you also work with leadership development,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and working with
Yeah.
administrators and stuff. So I want to make sure that you talk a little bit about that as
Yeah.
well.
So even if you see like on this podcast, I really, I don't want it to be about me. Like I know I have a story, and we in the industry we know the game of you got to earn the right. Why is this person credible to even come talk to me? But when I talk to people that's going to bring me in, I literally say like, well, what do you need? What do you need me to address? And then I am being the skill set and the gift that I have can tie it in to make it resonate with the audience.
Mhm.
So I always just go with how can I serve you and your organization? Because if we don't have stats that's like, hey, the numbers is going to shift for you bringing me in.
Mhm.
I, I've heard one of my mentors said, motivation is like a shower. You need one every day. Like I motivated you today.
Yeah.
Wonderful. But are you like, say for instance, are you gonna he wants to know my web, leawilliams.com is all my stuff. You go to leawilliams.com.
And I'll
You're gonna
have that
see
in the description. I got you.
you could
Hmm.
get my social media handles on there, my emails on there, the business phones on there, all of it. To book me to speaks on there, my merch. You see, I'm rocking all my stuff. That's how you got to do out here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when I go, it's about you. How can I pour into you? How can I uplift you? And when you come from that, we talked about the law of sowing and reaping.
Hmm.
If I sow magnificence,
Hmm.
I reap magnificence. So I know where my blessings come from.
Right.
I just got to be tapped in with that and continue that. Now, the podcast, I've been doing a lot of podcasts, man. We've been doing it for May. This May, we over 6 years podcasting, man.
Man.
I won't never
Consistent.
forget. I won't never forget one of our. We know them both. I just don't like to say names. I'm
Nah,
I'm
right. I
past. I'm
got
past. I have said a
you.
few names on here, but I'm working towards like I'm past saying names.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of our colleagues. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
It was like, man, you all you are is a pandemicpreneur. Because everybody named Mama was wanting to start podcasts, or everybody named Mama wanted to be a. Oh, now we're gonna do entrepreneurs, or now we're gonna be. I've been out here. We've been out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this.
Yeah.
This we've been in this process and this journey, and people already have fallen off.
Hmm.
Like, oh, where you at? Like, so I just say that to say over going on 7 years.
Yeah.
Every Monday, I drop a new episode
Yeah.
and haven't missed. Do you know what that means?
Consistency is key,
With
man.
the content, like to come up with an episode every
Every
week.
every week. Yeah.
All I'm saying, I got the shirt on. Honor your message.
That's it.
You have to be about that life.
Hmm.
You can't fake it. You can fool some people sometime, some people all the time, but you can't fool all people all the time. I'm time
At some
tested.
point
I'm time tested.
at some point they're gonna check the receipts, man.
They gonna check my
They
seat.
gonna
I'm
it's
time
like yeah,
tested.
it's like being at Walmart, man. When you walking out, they're like, "Sir, I need to look at that receipt." You know, they're gonna check you, man. You know, and so you gotta make sure you put in the work. Look, man, before we go, you know, it's just been incredible. I hope you guys understand the importance of having a coach. Kobe Bryant hired a coach, like, you know, and I'm talking about personal coach outside of Phil Jackson. You know, they're everyone, the greats, everybody has a coach, and I wanted to make sure that I brought on my coach, who you know I've invested time with, and just been able to take leaps and bounds in my life. Um, but before we go, the last thing I want you to share, man, is what is the one thing if someone there's anything that you said, but there's one thing that they can take away and apply to their life today so that they can live a magnificent life.
But one thing that I would say is if you don't know how not to hear the scariest words, you need to figure that out.
Mm,
Because we put so much emphasis on this world, and you have to. Like we're called to be royal priesthood, chosen generation, the head, not the tail. So I'm not taking away none of that. But if you don't make it to be with your father and not experience the second death, is this true magnificence we're talking about?
mm,
If you don't get to experience the kingdom, like I helped you with your marriage, I helped you with your finances, I helped you with your movement, your meal, your mindset, and then you like, if I use you as an example, Lord, you like, we stand at the gates, and he's like, I never knew you, and Lord was like, Coach, Lee, why you ain't tell what you mean? Why you
right.
ain't tell me? Like, how is
Yeah.
that? So
Yeah.
I know, like, you might be like, wow, Lee. But that's like, if I remember, we talking about, I truly care about you. Remember,
That's
I
right.
said I
Yeah.
want you to win whatever's necessary.
Right.
So what's necessary is are you right?
Yeah.
Because one thing you know when you get tapped in with him and you start living according to his stuff falls in line because
Hmm.
that's how he's the creator.
He's creator,
Like,
man. How can you not? And that's the biggest thing. My wife and I talked about this before too. But in order for you to know what your purpose is, because so many people are lost. And I saw a quote by Mace, man. Mace said the world needs God, man. Like you need
right,
Jesus, man. And whether you a believer or not, and look, I created this podcast, man. It's a faith base. Right? Everyone
right,
knows you've been rocking with me. You know I'm a Christian. So
right,
if you're upset and you're like, man, I don't want to hear all that, I'm
right,
sorry, but I'm not. Right. But listen, if you're not right with God, and or maybe you kind of fell off and you went astray, but to Lee's point, man, you have to stay ready. You know, you have to get your life right. But how can you desire to dream? How can you live a magnificent life? How can you live in your purpose and you don't have a relationship with God? It's impossible.
impossible.
Possible.
Yeah. So I have to just keep it real, and
Yeah.
we got to get you on, we got to get you right.
Yeah, yeah, man, that's wonderful, man. Listen, man, I appreciate you taking the time out, man, and sharing. You know, if you guys, again, I'm going to have the description of his website. You need him to as a speaker. You need him as a coach. You need him to come in and do a webinar, seminar, whatever the case may be. You can see all his services on the website, man. Lee, appreciate you, King, and you know, looking forward to just continue growing with you, man, and really making an impact in this world, man. I see you and I, you know, sharing the stage, man. So appreciate you and the time. And for the audience, thank you for tapping in with Desire to Dream. We want you to live a magnificent life. We want you to take action and turn your dreams into a reality. And I hope that this podcast episode helped you. And if you think you can help someone else, please like and share and subscribe to the channel. So appreciate y'all. Have a blessed day. Peace.